Hi, I'm Nicole Roberts Jones, and welcome to The Fierce Files. Now, what I know for sure is that one of life's greatest gifts will meet you when you go after your more. And so here is why I share with you thought-provoking insight and behind-the-curtain conversations with women who have reached the pinnacle of success because they went after their more. Now, I really want you to get this. One idea from these episodes can make a remarkable difference, not just in your career, but in your life. And I want to make sure you join the conversation in our Facebook group. So go to findyourfiercemovement.com. Now grab your pen and get ready for today's session of The Fierce Files. Hi, Nicole Roberts Jones here, and for this episode of the podcast, I'm going to talk to you from the subject, will you sacrifice what's good about your life to move into what's great? See, what I know for sure is that what's good about your life is really, really good. But what you desire for your life is waiting on you, and it's waiting because you're wondering what other people will think and what other people will say. And so the reason that I even started this podcast is because I wanted to give you permission to go after your great. And see, what I know for sure is your greatness is dying to come out. And so you needed to experience a walking, talking example. Matter of fact, not one, you needed several. And that's what each of our guests do. See, they show you what it looks like when you choose success on your own terms. And as I share with you my own journey, my question to you is, what will you do? So again, I will ask, will you sacrifice good for great? See, some of you have heard my story, but for those of you who haven't, let me share with you why I'm passionate about letting go of good and moving into great. See, because when I stopped to do this for myself, what I realized is that I had built an incredible career in the entertainment industry. See, at the time I worked for one of Viacom's largest cable networks. We had an outreach to 89 million homes on a weekly basis. And then from there, I was elevated into a casting director position for the #1 TV show on Fox. And by the way, this was in the 90s, right? And then from there, I worked with an entertainment group, and together what we produced generated $12.6 billion a year. See, I was doing all of that. Plus, I was going to all the hot Hollywood parties. I was bumping elbows with stars, people you've seen on TV and have looked at on films. See, I was living the life that I had always dreamed of since I was a little girl. And it was what I had gone to college for, and I was doing it. While at the same time, I had this whisper inside of me, Nicole, there's something bigger for you. But I had no idea what the heck that bigger was. I didn't know what that more was. And in that moment of good, what was happening for me is I was being called out into my own great. And you have to know that this was a confusing place to be. Now, don't get me wrong, Hollywood was great. And it, again, was the career I had dreamed of since I was a little girl. But every day I lived my Hollywood dream, I felt like a little piece of me died because I felt like something was missing. And I was confused by this because, again, it was everything I dreamed of. I had the title, the Rolodex. I could get my name on any list, on any party, any event. But I lacked fulfillment. And in the process of me feeling dazed and confused about this place I found myself in, one of my good girlfriends asked me to volunteer with her at a program at our church. And as I volunteered that night, as I worked with young women at my church, as I worked with them, their eyes lit up. And as their eyes lit up, my heart lit up. And I realized this is what I'm meant to do. And as I had this realization, this epiphany moment, I found myself confronted with everything I was and everything I hadn't even done yet. See, in that moment, I realized that I had followed a path based on perception and public opinion. I realized how disconnected I was from my own soul. And in that moment, standing in that church in 1993, I realized Hollywood was good, but the great in me was calling me into holding the space for women just like you that found themselves or find themselves at a crossroad between good and going after their great. But the problem was, as I stood at this crossroad, I told you I was grappling with perception and other people's opinion. And so in this moment for me, I realized, yes, I found my purpose. Yes, I had done what I call finding my fierce. But I also had to come to terms with the fact that there was no such thing as a coach yet. Again, this was 1993. Coaching wasn't even an industry yet. So this thing that I was doing, there was no glamour in this. There was no glory in this. And I definitely couldn't even figure out how the heck I could get paid to do it. But for the first time in my life, my soul was alive. So that night, I was confronted where popularity and public perception were staring the face of my life's calling. And I remember feeling like I was standing at a fork in the road, at a crossroad, right? Now, let me ask you, have you ever felt like you were standing at a fork in the road, or maybe you're at that place right now? And see, in that fork, in that crossroad, one direction was the very thing that was rumbling in my soul to do and be. And it was the thing I knew I was meant to do. It was the thing that I knew I was missing. And the other direction was the only way anyone would ever recognize me. See, in that moment, I realized that I had to become unrecognizable for my future. See, I was willing in that moment to sacrifice my good to go after my great. I was willing to say, sorry, mom, sorry, dad, sorry, neighborhood, sorry, friends. I let you all guide me, and that was my fault. But I'm going to take my control back now, right? Have you ever felt like you've lost control and have to take it back? And again, maybe you're in that moment right now, and it's time for you to take back control. See, that night for me, I was everything that many, many people think they could want. And yet, in the lining of my belly, I knew there was something bigger, something more for me to do. So that very night, I stepped up, and over 25 years ago, I started doing the work I do now, helping women just like you live as the highest and best version of who you were created to be. But it all started with me being willing to sacrifice what's good to move into what's great. Now, I want you to keep in mind, being great is not just about your title or how much money you make. See, greatness is you saying yes to do you without apology. It's saying yes to do the thing that's rumbling in your belly, even though it may not make sense to your current position. See, it's not settling for good enough or being complacent. It's letting go of the shoulds, the things you should do or things you should be. And it's saying yes to be the woman God put you on this earth to do or be. And here's the thing. No one says yes and then suddenly moves into their greatness. It's not like a boop and it just happens overnight. See, greatness is developed over time. So while you may have started your current career, your current position, and felt like that was you moving from good to great, there is indeed a next level for you. So you can stay where you are and think you're done. But I got to tell you, I'm here for you as your sister friend because there is more for you. And if you're someone that's been having this desire for a different role, a new position, to start a business, whatever that is for you, then I'm here as your sister friend to let you know that your greatness is calling you. Your next level, your more is dying to come out. So your greatness is like a seed and it's got to be cultivated. And that is why we go through various seasons of change and growth. So let me give you an example of what I mean. It's like when you moved from preschool to elementary. See, the first day of preschool was your great, but your last day of preschool was good, and elementary was calling you into your greatness, right? Then you move from elementary to high school, and actually elementary to junior high, and then junior high to high school, and then high school to college, and so on and so on. Each level of your education moved you from good to great. And I can also give you examples from my dating life and how each man I dated, when I started dating them, they were great until they went from great to good. And I had to move on, right? Because then at one point, good wasn't so good. And even after I found the ultimate great in my husband, neither of us can be complacent with our relationship. And we can't be happy with being where we are now, today, 13 years later from where we started. Actually, it's more than 13. We've been married for, anyway, that's not the point. See, we have to be willing to grow our relationship and water the seed of greatness we started with, or we'll move into good. And then at some point, good will not be so good. And complacent would mean that one day, I'm sure you can figure out the rest. See, the same is true in every area of our lives. All along the way, I wonder if you even realize the various seasons of change and growth you've already gone through. And so today, for this episode, the last for season 2, as we prepare to go on hiatus for the next few months, I'm here to ask you to take a moment to look at where you are professionally. I want you to look at where you are, and I really want you to ask yourself, are you ready to sacrifice what's good to move into what's great? Are you ready to let go of who you already are to become who you have not yet become? Matter of fact, those of you that know that greatness is calling you to start a business, then I have a gift for you. I'm inviting you to join me for a free special 3-day online training called Get Paid for What You Know. And you can learn more at paidforwhatyouknow.com. Now, here's a fact. During this 3-day training, you will learn how to get clear on the transformation you provide that people will pay for. You will learn why you don't need to quit your 9-to-5 to build your business alongside it. Many people will tell you to quit. You're already setting yourself up for failure. And I'll tell you more about that during Get Paid for What You Know. I'm going to teach you how to create multiple streams of income from what you already know. And one of those is how to make money while you sleep and so much more. Again, you can learn more and register at paidforwhatyouknow.com. And I'm giving you this because of what I know is so many of you, the greatness when it's starting a business is scary. I've been there. And so I don't want it to be a hard process for you like it was for me. I want to teach you everything you need to do it successfully. And see, many of you don't even realize that rumble in your belly is calling you out because people need that gift in you. So yes, I'm talking to you, successful woman. See, that rumble in your belly and you're feeling guilty about going after it? It's based on your attachment to what you already doing and who you already are. And that's good. And let me ask you, let me step on your toes a little bit and ask you, could your attachment to your achievements block you from becoming great? Let me say that one more time. Could your attachment to your achievements block you from becoming great? See, this actually makes me think of Michelle Obama and her book, Becoming. Now, I shared this with you in another episode, so this is a perfect wrap up for our journey here in season 2. And it really is a perfect touch point to me calling you out to your next level. See, in her book, Becoming, Michelle said this. Really, it was simple. I hated being a lawyer. I wasn't suited for the work. I felt empty doing it, even if I was plenty good at it. This was a distressing thing to admit, given how hard I'd worked and how in debt I was. And my blinding drive to excel and my need to do things perfectly, I missed the signs and taken the wrong road. And so maybe you're in the same place Michelle was. Maybe you're having a realization. Now, here's what I want you to understand from me sharing that excerpt from Michelle's book. Regardless of where you find yourself in life, you paid a price to get there, and I get that. And I want you to really think about it. It may sound simple, but you would be surprised by the number of women who never consider what you've gone through to get where you are and to see that cost as an investment, not just where you are today, but in your next level in moving to your greatness, right? And really, I want you to understand the fundamental truth of the Bible verse Romans 8:28 that says, all things work together for the good. Again, it says all, not some, not a few, but all things work together for the good. See, what Michelle Obama didn't know in that moment is that although she hated being a lawyer, it was the skills she obtained getting her law degree that I believe helped her become a phenomenal first lady. So what Michelle didn't realize in that moment was her good was calling her into her great. Even for me, in that moment of making the choice that I talked about a few minutes ago, remember I was at that crossroad and really making the choice to sacrifice my good career in the entertainment industry and move into what appeared to be great. And I say appear because I didn't know. I in no way realized that my past was actually investing in my future in that moment. See, it was my bachelor's degree in TV and film, and then the internships I did that then led me to my 8 years of working in the entertainment industry that then equipped me, right? It was my experience working in casting as I put the right people in the right role that I use now as a coach and help women live in the role that is in alignment with their gifts and talents. It was my production background that allows my team and I at the Fierce Factor Lab to produce our clients' first money-making programs, the programs that make money while you sleep. See, I can go on and on looking at all the experiences that have equipped me and have been a partner with my purpose. See, my gift of drawing out the best in people partners perfectly with everything I ever did in the entertainment industry. But I got to tell you, when I came to that crossroad years ago, I didn't see that. Just like Michelle Obama didn't see in her epiphany moment how being a lawyer, when she hated it, would help her into her great. And just like you may not see now if wherever you are is going to move you into your great. So my question to you is, what are you willing to let go of in exchange for your future? All right. So for those of you that are saying, Nicole, oh, that's great, and I'm willing to let go of my good for my great, but where do I start? So let me give you 3 steps that can help you begin to move into your greatness. Number 1, you've got to be willing to take back your power. And I really want you to think about it for a minute. Have you given something or someone your power? See, whether that's something someone did to you, something someone said to you, whether that was your parents and their desire for you to have a certain career. You know, that makes me think of Sophia Nelson's conversation in season 1, right? So I really want you to stop and think about what labels have others placed on you that no longer fit where you are. Well, to be honest with you, and sometimes they never fit, but you took them on. See, labels stick to us because we allow them to. And so today, I'm claiming that you no longer allow other people's perception of you to fuel you. Today, you can choose to make a different choice and take back the power you gave to someone or something that happened to you that made you who you are up until this point. So you have to realize that you have the power to choose who you are and what you want. You have the power to choose how you move and have your being. Today, you are the designer to the label, the tag that was placed on you. So stop allowing others to place limits on you and instead pick up a pen and then do number 2. Define success for yourself. See, many of us are looking for joy. We're looking for happiness, but we haven't defined that for our own selves. See, we grow up and we take on happiness and joy and peace first by our parents. And then we take on what our teachers may say or what the industry we work in may say. See, some of that really does not fit you, but we hold on to it. Then we begin to take on society's perception. Well, today I want you to stop and ask yourself, what do I really want? What do I really want to be? And what do I want to do? I want you to, for the first time for some of you in your life, I want you to ask yourself, what do you want? That's how you define success for yourself. And then you move into number 3. You've got to give yourself permission to have it. You've got to give yourself permission to have the desires of your heart. I know for me in that moment in my church 25 plus years ago, it all started with me giving myself permission to want something different than what everyone else told me I should do or be. See, some of you are letting fear win. But I want to challenge you. Instead of asking yourself, what if I fail? I want to give you permission to fail. I want you to recognize that each choice that you've made up until now has either you failed or you've done great. And see, some of your choices have been really, really good and some of them have been bad. But either way, either gotten a great outcome or you learned a great lesson. Both are necessary. And so you don't lose points for making poor choices. You only lose points for staying stuck where you are and not moving forward. And you only stay stuck where you are and in good enough if you don't give yourself permission to go after that thing that's rumbling in your soul. See, whether you have the job you always dreamed of, even if you have the expense account, the corner office, the title, even if you have the kids, the husband, you know, the list you made, at least I remember the list that I made. I want you to realize that, yes, something was given in exchange for you to be where you are and who you are. Either your parents footed the bill or you're paying off your student loan, regardless of your background. You traded something. You traded something of extreme value for you to become the person that you are right now. So my question is, what are you willing to do next? What are you willing to do to move into your next level? What are you willing to do to go after who you have not yet become? Now, for those of you who went to payforwhatyouknow.com and you're joining me starting June 25th, 26th, and 27th, yes, there's so much to give you. That's 3 days for some powerful insight and training in alignment with our conversation today. For those of you ready to build your business alongside your 9-to-5 as you sacrifice your good for great, come with your A game and be ready because I'm going to give you everything you need. Again, it's it's payforwhatyouknow.com. And as always, it is my honor to serve you with each and every episode of The Fierce Files. I want you to go into the findyourfiercemovement.com and tell me what you're willing to let go of to move into what's possible for you. I want you to share with us and let us know, will you sacrifice your good for your great? Thank you for joining us for this episode of The Fierce Files. Now, I want you to walk away from these episodes with value, so grab your pen and answer either one or all 3 of these questions. Number 1, what was your greatest takeaway? Number 2, what will you do differently as a result of what you heard? So you may have heard something you've already heard before, or you may have learned something new. Either way, don't take the insight that was shared with you for granted. So commit to doing one thing different because of what you heard. Number 3, what was confirmation for you? What did you hear that confirmed you're on the right path? See, I want you to take a moment and celebrate you. Too often in our journey, we focus on what we're not doing and we forget to celebrate what we are doing. So what was something that showed you that you're headed in the right direction? Now, I want you to share your answers. Share your answer to either number 1, what was your greatest takeaway? Number 2, what would you do different? Or number 3, what was confirmation for you? And share it in our Facebook community. So go to findyourfiercemovement.com and use the hashtag FierceFiles. Now, each experience we encourage, support, and celebrate as a community. It allows us to expand in possibility and wisdom, in encouragement and love. Now, we've invited you into our community to deepen our journey with being the answer someone needs and in being committed to your next level. So until the next time, be extraordinary, be unapologetic, be bodaciously you, go and be fierce.